Welcome to the Redvee TV Show, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2024 season. And as Kev is reminding us, and our shirts are, Car Swap is on this weekend. Get down to Chapel House and see what they can do for you. Good evening, Kevin. It's Good Friday week.
It is Good Friday week, and it has been a really busy week for us as well. Long may it continue.
Yes, I do feel we've run out of good guests and we're just stuck with each other tonight now.
You know what? I'm just looking forward to a night off tomorrow of not filming.
Yeah. Do you know what? When we decided to contact Sam Tompkins to try and get him on the show, we weren't sure how it was going to go down, but all the comments pretty much universal are that everybody enjoyed the show. Talking about the rivalry. If you've not watched it yet, it is a really good watch. That's not just us saying that for a change.
You know what? It was really good fun to do. If you're gonna let your prejudice kind of take yourself away from watching it, then you're doing yourself a disservice. It's not no skin off our nose. We filmed it. It's done. It's in the can. But if you're going to take your prejudice away from watching it and listening to him and Matt Pete and their views on the derby, as well as two Saints legends, then listen, just pack it up, because we're going out there, getting these names, being trusted with the talent, and it's enjoyable to do, Dave. It's a proper high point of stuff that we do on this.
Obviously, as we said the other day, you did the interviews with Matt Peace, Johnny Lomax, Paul Wellens. I was behind the camera, and I'm holding the camera, and I'm listening to the interview live and enjoying it while I'm filming it. It's really good. So when I'm filming it and I'm listening, I'm thinking this is really good. You know it's going to be good when it goes out, and we're just glad that people enjoy watching it.
Definitely, because we enjoy doing it.
Right, on to the show, Kevin. Bits to discuss, because Good Friday awaits.
Yes, indeed, it does.
But as you can see, it is Car Swap weekend. Don't delay. Book your place today. If you want to upgrade your existing car for a new higher spec model, book your own appointment and get the best possible price for your current car. Or if it's more convenient, you can pop down to Chapel House St Helens or Chapel House in Wigan, if you're one of our Wigan brethren watching this week's show, and you can have the best pick of the bunch.
Yeah. Have they got one over where Aaron Bauer lives?
No, but Aaron Bauer said he's going to come to St Helens because he wants to know where he could get a really good car deal. So obviously Car Swap was recommended, and Chapel House.
That's our reach. That's our reach over into Yorkshire.
Yes. Friday, Kevin. The club are doing a little bit something different, aren't they? Players are going to do a walk up to the ground all together. I hope they do realise that there's 2 hours on Tesco car park, though, if that's where they want to park.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. I like this. I like the fact that they're kind of making it into a big occasion, and they're doing this walk up, and they've got various different things on around the grounds, acts on in the ground as well. I just think that this is the right way to build up to a game like this. They've done it throughout the season so far. Like, it's almost been like little bits where they've had a singer and DJ on before, and the two lads who are playing this Friday as well. So it's something good to get people to the stadium, get them in the ground, and get them pumped up for what promises to be a great atmosphere and a great game.
Yeah, we usually get to the ground quite early on a match night, purely because Junior Redvee is dancing and needs to be there at the community hub early. But there's always a really good, healthy amount of fans waiting outside the turnstiles for them to open, obviously to try and snaffle those best vantage points in the West Stand. So there should be a really decent crowd outside when the players come past. They're going to come past the side of Tesco, towards the stadium, past the West Stand entrances, where they'll probably get mobbed, past the Kieran Cunningham statue, past the Redvee bar, where everybody can lift the pints and cheer them on, which is open from 10:30, I think. I want to say. And then obviously past the shop, past the ticket office, and into the ground. I'm sure Josh will be out with the camera. So make it loud, be proud, get the colours going, and build some atmosphere before going in. And do you know what? We're not even getting paid for this plug. JJ's Ices, TikTok ice cream star. Who'd have thought setting up your ice cream van with a live TikTok stream would work so well? I know he gets queues. He goes to parks up on Chain Lane Community Centre quite often alongside other spots in the town, serving delicious whipped ice cream with a variety of flavours. He's going to be there. He said he's going to be by the Kieran Cunningham statue. Well, he better not be in our spot, because that's where we film. We've got the permit for that spot.
I'm not on TikTok, but I've seen what he's serving, and it looks really good as well. And I'm sure that
we've got friends in Warrington who have actually come over especially for it.
Oh wow!
Just to queue because they've seen him on TikTok. But yeah, do you know what? Fair play to the club for doing a little bit of a collab. I'm sure it's going to be really roaring business for JJ's Ices. My little girl's asking to have one. So while we're filming after the game for half an hour, she can join that big queue.
Yeah. It's you know what? Again, it's another part of Saints doing it right, and good on them. Listen, you tie up with people in the town, you get accustomed to people in the town, and it's mutually beneficial. Excellent. Yes. Well done.
Yeah, I've made sure Junior Redvee's got her own money, because I'm not opening my wallet.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Can I have one of these? Yeah, your dad's told me that you've got your own money, so go for it.
Turnstiles open 1:15. I do believe the Hull derby is going to be on the screens in the ground. If you want to get in early, get a pint, watch that. When you get in, Jack Bennett, Eric McKenna, the DJ, also on, building the atmosphere. So hopefully the weather stays relatively okay, and we'll have a really, really good day.
Yeah, it looks. I think that's the only thing that potentially could let us down, the weather.
Not the club at 3:00.
And the result. No. Yeah, we'll get to that.
But yeah, if you want to get down early, 1:10 for the player arrival, should be something different.
Yeah.
Right then, Kev, before we get onto the squad, 1 match ban for James Bell following the Challenge Cup 6-round game. I've seen a lot of Saints fans complaining about it, not knowing why it was given. As soon as we've seen the incidents, we've got it, the clip of it, we've rewound it, we've gone backwards and forwards in slow-mo. For me, it's nailed on.
Yeah, I've not got too many complaints with it, to be honest. I don't know, people will see it different ways. That's the beauty of opinion. But yeah, it's a ban, isn't it?
As unintentional as it is, once you both feet leave the floor and you leap, it's a very quick, I don't want to say leap, but jumps towards the player, and he lands on Momirovski's lower limb ankle, causes him pain instantly, and I think he suffered from it for the rest of the game. It was going to get picked up on how that incident happened. The arguments you could have as a Saints fan is there's been plenty similar this season that have gone unpunished. What should have been banned as well. But if you're looking at the incidents in isolation, 1 match ban, I think you've got to hold your hands up and say fair cop. I can see why the club have appealed it based on how inconsistent the MRP can be with their decisions. Is it a soft one? Probably. But equally, it could have broke the fella's ankle, couldn't it?
Yeah, as you say, I'm not going to argue too much about it. I think you're right with inconsistencies, and that's possibly something I've gone to the MRP with, that it's inconsistently judged, and possibly pushing towards getting a consistent baseline across the sport. We don't want to see people sat in the stands. We want to see the best players out there, and it's unfortunate that one of our key performers this year and at the end of last year is going to miss out on such a big game. Does mean that he'll be back for the Catalan game, but you know what? For now, yeah, he's just going to take his medicine on this one.
I think that's the most disappointing thing. The Good Friday derby, which is the biggest game in rugby league, is going to be missing one of the star performers of the season so far. And that's the sad part of it. But as you say, a week off for James Bell. Paul Whelan said next man up, and the squad, Kev, is very, very strong indeed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not bad at all with the reintroduction of Tommy Makinson after injury. Mark Percival after suspension. Lewis Dodd still named, despite missing the Leeds game with injury, with T. Ritson and obviously James Bell dropping out of that 21-man squad.
Big decisions to be made. Who makes the 17, who doesn't. You could make arguments for 19 to get into the 17, I'd say. I think Ben Davis and Sam Royal are the obvious ones who will be missing out. The other two are going to be unlucky.
Yeah, definitely. And it all depends on like the likes of Lewis Dodd being fully fit, on Tommy Makinson being fully fit. Could it be a little bit of mind games naming them? I'd almost think that if they're getting named in the squad, then they must be very, very close, whether it's a late decision on them. And yeah, as you say, you can make arguments about quite a few across the wings and centres there. If Doddy misses out, then you've got Moses to slot into 7 again. Forwards, an absolute plethora of second rowers that you can call upon. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not.
Right. We're going to have to break this down. We're going to start with the backs then, Kev.
Yeah.
I think Tommy Makinson is going to play, and I'm only basing that on him retweeting the squad on his Instagram.
Fair enough. And this is what we look for, little hints, little clues.
If you weren't playing and you're disappointed, if you're in the squad as a blag, would you retweet it? Or is it a double bluff?
Is it a double bluff? Is it the perfect crime?
They've done it a couple of times this year when they've put players on squad photos who then haven't played.
Yeah.
I suspect Tommy plays. Now, let's take it at face value that everybody in that squad is good to go.
Yeah.
Personally, based on levels of performance from what I've seen so far, you obviously, Jack Wellsby is your fullback. Centre and wing, I would go Makinson and Benison on the wings. And I would go Harrell and Percival in the centres, and it'd be Wonga who misses out. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think Wonga and Percy are in your centres. I think that's the plan for the year, and you've got to. And to be fair to Wonga, you've yet to see him in a consistent partnership. So, is he going to lose his place? No. But then the question is, do you have Harrell, a centre Blake on the wing, or do you play Benison?
Yeah, I think this is obviously one of the really, really tough ones that whoever you say is going to miss out here is unlucky. I know what you say about Wonga, but he's 5 games into his Saints career. I don't think, as a head coach, you jettison somebody like Wonga Blake out. I just don't think you do it, even if you. I'm not accusing Paul Wellers of this, but even if you don't think he's hit his straps yet, I don't think you get rid of him. I think he stays in.
And do you know what? Listen, I'm not going to even use the word jettison. Jettison sounds like you're being cast aside, you're not getting back in the team. I'm just basing it pure. If you're purely basing it on performances so far, and you are saying you pick the best team based on that, I think there's players ahead of him at the moment, and I think they'd be unlucky to miss out. And instead,
I think
it depends what you want here. If you want to, but if you're basing it on the teams that we're playing, if you want to go big against Wigan, do you play Harrell and Blake to go for a bigger edge, or do you stick with John Bennison, who has been rock solid, done absolutely nothing wrong, and I thought last week took his try well defensively, absolutely solid. Does just John Bennison offer you more in defence?
Yeah, again, this is where you'd say if John Bennison's the one who gets dropped out, he's been so unfortunate because he's been terrific. He's done everything that's been asked of him. He works hard. He's good defensively. He's taken tries well. So he's always been there when he's been needed, when somebody's been able to put him in. So it would be tough. I do think that we'll probably go a little bit bigger. And I think you could even argue, do you go with your bigger team? Is Tommy playing? That's the big one. If Tommy plays, I see it as Tommy, Connie, Percy, Wonga. And I think John Bennison is really unlucky to miss out. And I'll tell you what, I'll also base that on. The fact that Will Hopewati used to come in on the wing, and it seems like Wonga is now that Will Hopewati style player. That NRL, probably a little bit more pace. Is he as good going backwards? Not entirely sure. But I think he's taken that role. That's why I'm going to go with that. And if that is the one, John Bennison is very, very, very unlucky.
Yeah, if you go back to the Huddersfield game where we won 28-0, Connie missed out that game, didn't he? Because he was suspended.
Yeah.
But you could also say if Tommy's not 100%, like rock solid 100%, this isn't a game to risk him in.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely right. You don't throw him into it at all.
The game won't be won or lost on whether we play a 90% Tommy Makinson or not. So if he's 100%, of course you want him in your team. He's your first choice winger, full stop. But if he's not fully fit, don't risk him. There's this is a battle. You might win or lose the battle, but the war is the rest of the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a really mismatch. You know what I mean?
Absolutely mangled that, but I know what you mean.
What you can guarantee, though, Kev, there is one guarantee. No matter who we're playing, when the squad is announced, you are going to see 5 million comments on social media of why T. Ritson isn't in the team. And you've got a theory on this, haven't you, Kev?
What, the paradox?
The paradox. That paradox, Kevin.
The unpicked player paradox. Players get better when they're not picked. 100% players get better when they're not picked. T. Ritson will get his chance this year. He'll come round. He'll get his chance. And we see a lot on social media as a swinger people. Last year it was get Ritson in. It was then he wasn't as quick as some people thought. Now it's the poor lad can't get a game. Well, guess what? Neither can Ben Davies or Sam Royal. And people aren't banging a drum to have them brought in either. He's 28. He's not been through an academy. Go on.
As an edit to this player paradox, I would argue that it's always one player each year.
No, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. But the lad, T's 28. He's not been through an academy. He doesn't need the added pressure of people going, why has he not been picked? Why has he not been picked? Why has he not been picked? He'll get his chance. He's only like 17 months into a full-time environment, and that includes being part of an academy and everything like that. And I'm sure he's working hard. The question that I would ask them is, who do you drop for him?
So this is my thing at the moment in time. Now, you can go back to our player previews before the start of the season. I was actually saying I would have Ritson. I'd give him a run of 10 games at the start of the year. But that hasn't happened. John Bennison has come in and for me has took his chance. The sole reason that T. Ritson isn't in the squad at the moment is he's behind players who are performing in the pecking order. That is it. Full stop.
Well, that's it. You're not going to drop John Bennison for T. Ritson. If it's a straight shootout with them two on a week, you're not going to drop John Bennison for him. You're not going to drop Tommy Makinson for him. And as I said earlier, with Wonga, he's 5 games into his Saints career. You're not going to just drop an NRL player for him unless he's absolutely ripping it up in training. It's just not going to happen. And then there's another question: why have we signed him? Well, his signing got announced on the 18th of October last year. That decision will have been made probably when he was playing first team in the middle of the summer, June, July, August, when he was in and around the team. That's when that gets made. It doesn't get made on the 17th of October. And then
You also need a squad. You just need a squad.
And him coming in would then, if you did have to move people like Tommy Makinson into the centres, John Bennison to fullback, Wonga Blake across the line, you can do that. You can do that. He's just got to fight for his chance. He doesn't need the extra pressure of people trying to shoehorn him into a team. Let him find his way naturally.
Okay, right. That's the backs done. Johnny Lomax and Lewis Dodd pick themselves if they are fit.
Yeah.
The forwards from the back row. I am going to call it now, Kevin.
Go on.
I will say George Delaney will miss out this week. Based on, we were going to give him a rest at Leeds. He had to come into the squad. He then played in the cup game. We've got Catalan away next week, where we've got 2 games against 2 real physical packs in Wigan and Catalan. Do you give him the week off, given we've got everyone fit and available, and put him in bubble wrap for next week against Catalan? And derbies can be, I won't say rough and tough. He's still a young lad, manages minutes. Again, this is just one battle in a long war.
Did I say manages minutes in his play preview as well, and then got a load of grief of people saying, no, you play him every week, you play him every week. Then Paul Wellens comes out and says, he's only a young prop forward. We don't want to flog him.
We'll probably get a load of grief for saying that he won't play this week as well.
Well, I think the way that we look at this and the way that we've looked at it for the past couple of years is we look at patterns of what has happened before. And because he's been in and about and not playing big minutes, it seems to me like we're trying to manage him through it. We're trying to let him play rugby, but not necessarily just burn him out. So he gets to 23, 24, and you're like, oh, remember George Delaney? Yeah, he had a great start to his career, but then he got burnt out early. And it looks like we may be going for lads who are a little bit older. Whether they're a little bit wiser, I'm not sure. But yeah, when it comes to it, I mean, I've written a team down here, which is obviously Walmsley, Clark, Lees. Then you can pick whoever you want in the second row. I've actually gone Whitley and Batchelor to start because I just think Batch is solid. And if he's playing on that right-hand side alongside Connie, I think he gives him a lot of help there. Morgan Knowles at 13. And then a bench of Curtis Serin and Sione Metaltia. Jake Wingfield, who I think is the one who gives you a lot of options. So he could play 13 if needed. Sione could play 13 if needed, but can also middle up and go down the middle if need be. And then Moses, if Lewis is fit, Moses on the bench, or George Delaney. That's how I've gone, based on the pattern of the past couple of weeks. This is where Weller will throw an absolute curveball and George Delaney will be started.
I think Moses is in your 17 every week, full stop.
I think he's got to be at the minute.
Just because of what he can offer you in a variety of positions, and is unlucky not to be getting the start. If he doesn't play.
We lauded him on Friday against Leeds because when Darryl Clark got sin-binned, he could step in at 9 and still play that role and still have his hands on the ball. And it means Jack Wellsby might have to get involved as a bit more of a threat at halfback. But him being in and about just gives you that added dynamic, doesn't it? That difference. So, as I say, I think it's Moses. Unless Moses only on my bench if he's not started because of Dodd being injured. That'd be the only reason he'd be on the bench. Because if he
starts Sirenin.
Yeah, fair enough.
Purely for size early on in the first 15, 20 minutes. And then you could toss a coin between Batch and Whitley. in this one.
And this is kind of what I'm going with. I'm trying to give reasons why I've picked him, and I think Matt Whitley's the man in possession completely. And then the other one is like I've just gone Batch because I think defensively he is, and I'm not saying Curtis isn't, but I think Batch will just give you that. What did he do? 40-odd tackles against Leeds on his first game back. I think he might get targeted, but he'll just shut up shop.
It's great that you can have this conversation, and any of them could play, and you go, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah, exactly. It's not like we're talking about this, and we might get it completely wrong, as in none of these second rows might start. They might go with Siren and Matautia, and you go, "Oh, okay, fair enough."
Yeah, so my thoughts miss out, Kev. Delaney, Davis, Royal, Perello, Benison.
Yeah, I think that's the one. I've got a feeling it's going to be Benison, and if it is, he can see himself as royally unlucky there.
Okay, Wigan squad then, Kev.
Why does he look like the dream? Have you stretched that so he looks like the dream? But yeah, Tom Forbes has dropped out and Jay Field's coming.
Pretty much full strength for Wigan for what's available for this year generally for them. We know what we're going to get. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points in this game.
No, I think again the weather might kind of stop that and keep it low scoring. Yeah, it's one of them that it promises to be a proper ding dong. This, but could it be one for the purists? Could it be like the 2020 grand final where there's not that many points scored and you're more looking at your don't give away a penalty anywhere that's kickable?
Here's what, Kev. What score was Good Friday last year?
Oh, I can't remember.
Isn't it mad how when you get beat, you just put it out your mind?
Too many soups.
We lost 14-6 and we were awful.
Yeah, I put that well out of my mind.
Yeah, and do you know what? It was an awful game. It might not be awful if you're a Wigan fan, but the game itself was absolutely dire. We're hoping for something better this time round, but I think it's going to be like set for set.
It could well be, you know.
Complete your sets, and it's going to be who grinds down first. War of attrition. And now we've said all that, it'd be like 36, 80, 18 or something stupid like that.
Yeah, of course it will. I'm just having a look through Wigan's squad here through the arm missing. Ethan Havard, the number 8's missing. Mike Cooper, obviously, I know he's played since his bad injury. Good to see, but he's missing as well. Got a number 18. And Sam Walters, the signing from Leeds, he's missing. I think Sam Walters probably improves from there. But listen, that's still a formidable Wigan team, and we're going to have to be on our best to get by.
Listen, it's not us who said this, but some educated Saints fans have said they hope it rains a little bit on Friday afternoon, because Wigan's sole game plan is give it to the fast fella and let him try and run with it.
Was that me drunk at Ellen Road?
Right, here's one for you, Kev, then. Are you confident?
Not really. Not as confident as I probably should be.
Does that come from the fact it's so early in the year and we're still trying to work out where we stand, given who we've played?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, early in the year does count, but I think it's also just the fact that these games don't always go the way that you think. So we've spoken about them, and on our video with Sam Tompkins and Johnny Lomax, they mentioned games that we've got beaten in, and that possibly they shouldn't have, like the Liam Farrell try in the last minute that does you for a win at the place. The fact that there were the bunch of kids that we played in the derby and they turned us over. They don't always go the way that you're expecting. And it's nothing to do with who Wigan have brought into the team and who they've got available for them. It's just the fact that these games do not, or tend not to necessarily go the way that you're expecting. There's the odd exception. Was it 2019, the Lachlan Coote game, I'm going to call it, where I fully expected us to go over there and win comfortably, and we did.
If both of these teams are at their best and playing their best rugby at this moment in time, it's very hard to split them, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're both at the very, very top of your game that you can't improve anymore, it's just going to be it's going to be a huge game, this.
Yeah. I think Wigan fans will also say that Saints and Wigan are comfortably a step above nearly every other, every other team in Super League at the moment. Over the course of a year, I think Catalan are probably the closest challengers. But yeah, it's hard to be confident because it could go either way.
Yeah, and the second I say I'm confident on this, we get beat by 60. Absolutely, and it's clipped forever. But I think that's maybe me as well, because I can be a pessimist sometimes. When it comes to watching Saints, I've had 30 odd years of doing so.
How many times have we been to Wigan on a Good Friday and got stonked?
Well,
the majority of my memories are just coming away from Wigan thinking we've lost again there. Luckily, we're at home.
Yeah, so I've not got as far to travel.
Right. I'm going to put you on the spot, Kev. Prediction.
It'll rain.
Brilliant.
Absolutely no chance. Saints by the odd score. If I'm being ultra positive, Saints by the odd score.
My prediction.
Will I put that in my predictor? Maybe not.
If Saints are to win, they need to limit Wigan to under 14 points.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
You can't afford a slow start like we had at Leeds 2 weeks ago. If you have a slow start like at Leeds, Wigan we'll be 3 scores down and it's game over.
First team, well, if someone scores 20, they win.
Okay, that's a good one.
Challenge Cup quarter-final draw has been done, Kev. They say you have to beat some big clubs on the way to win the cup if you're going to do it. So we'll get onto those after we've defeated Leeds and Wire.
That's the bit that's getting clipped.
Not a chance we're losing to them. Not a chance.
It's but it's still a quarter-final, to look forward to. Another good local game. Should be a good atmosphere, you'd have thought. Again, another one to add to the list of what a run this is, of having to go to Leeds twice, Wigan at home, Catalan away, and then is it this straight after?
Yes.
Who've we got
after that? Yeah, ticket prices are out for this one. It's hard to price, isn't it? I know we've seen a couple of things on social media bemoaning some of the highest prices there, but it's still a couple of pounds cheaper than a regular league match. And can you undersell the game? It should be a premium event, a Challenge Cup quarter-final against a big local rival. My only concern is that the dearest seats are obviously the ones bang in front of the camera, dead centre. Do you end up in a situation where some season ticket holders disperse out to the west stand or to the edges just to save a little bit of money and it doesn't look great on TV? It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And I think you've kind of nailed it a bit there with your, this should be a premium thing. Rugby league fans want rugby league to be the best sport in the world. And then when they're confronted with a price that they think is a bit too much, whether rightly or wrongly, no, that's too much. Well, do you want it to be a premium product, or do you want it? Would you want to go with this? And that's sometimes, again, it's another paradox. I'll make another graph for that.
What can be said though, Kev, is if you're an adult in the middle of the North Stand and it's £28 for your tickets, and you've got your season tickets there with your kids are free if they've got season tickets. So potentially it could be an adult and 2 children for £28, which is good value.
It is very good value.
£18 in the West Stand if you're a member. What I will say is they've put on the ticket information that the tickets in the West Stand aren't reserved for members in the West Stand. So my concern there is, if season ticket holders who are sitting down all decided to buy tickets in the West Stand, could it potentially sell out before your season ticket holders have a chance to purchase?
Possibly.
It's highly unlikely. But what I would say is, if you know you're going, just get a ticket in advance and don't run the risk of it.
Yeah, get a ticket as soon as you can. I suppose with the prices as well, people will say, because the cup draw's only just been made and the game is bang straight away a couple of weeks later, it doesn't give people chance. If you've got 2 adults and I don't know, 2 youth, or a youth and a young adult with you, the prices are possibly a little bit rich for some people, depending on their circumstances. So I do get that. I would like to see the cup kind of spread out a little bit more, rather than us having a draw and then 2 weeks later having to buy tickets.
I did have to check what I've just said to make sure that is right. 2024 members will have their seats reserved until 5 p.m. next Wednesday if they want to get their own seat, after which they will be released to general sale. Any 2024 member that has a membership in an unallocated area or the West Stand will not have a reservation. Instead, they will be able to log in and see the member prices for their desired area to purchase.
Don't treat season ticket holders differently. Don't treat them differently.
Yeah.
And I say that as obviously a member of the club, a membership holder. Do not treat members differently. I'm
just thinking worst case scenario here. What happens if everybody who sits down decides that they're going to go and buy tickets in the West Stand instead? What happens to the West Stand season ticket holders when they go to buy?
Well,
it won't come to that. It will not come to that.
No, won't.
But yeah, R4 kick off on that Sunday, by which time we could end up in a situation where Wigan are out. Could.
Wake up, David. Wake up. Wake up, David.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, well, never mind. Right. Done and dusted, Kev.
I feel like we've filmed a lot the past couple of days.
Yeah. You can enjoy a well-earned beverage on Friday morning.
I will on Friday morning, yeah.
Right. If we see you out and about on Good Friday, come say hello, have a chat. Whether you are Saints or Wigan, we'll be out with some of our Wigan friends. Don't worry, we wash afterwards. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Catch you soon.